so pleased to see so many opera lovers or would-be opera lovers. Dr. Gordon told me that he hopes that anyone that isn't a fan might convert, because that was my story about 15 years ago when I heard it for the first time personally in a small setting like this, and I just couldn't believe the power of the human voice, and it, you know, and it made me an instant fan late in life. But more specifically, this event is, I would like to welcome you to a tribute to Sarah of blessed memory on her 27th Yahrzeit, who is the mother of our performer, Dr. Azriel Gordon, who will be singing some of her favorite songs, operatic arias and prayers. May her neshama be here in this room tonight as her son honors her with the music she loved so much. Oh, I haven't seen this before, it's making me cry. Dr. Gordon's love affair with singing goes back over 60 years to his choir boy days with the Max Pinchas Orthodox men only choir. They even had men sopranos in New York. After his alto voice changed, he gave up singing for a number of years, but was reintroduced to it by a college classmate in 1962. The classmate was an opera lover and shared this love with the young Dr. Gordon. He's still young. I put that in. Okay. Dr. Gordon immediately was hooked. He bought and borrowed as many operatic recordings as possible and began copying Caruso, Delmonico, Gigli, Bjorling, and others, trying to teach himself how to sing like they did. His mother, hearing all this beautiful music in her house, also fell in love with opera and frequently asked her son to sing some of her favorite songs and arias. In the mid-70s, Dr. Gordon, in addition to working full-time as a social worker, performed with two opera companies, the Metro Lyric Opera Company and the Monmouth Conservatory of Music, Opera, and Oratoria Society. Abandoning both his social work career and the operatic stage, he embarked on a course of study which enabled him to heal so many people today. Fortunately for us, he never stopped singing. His beautiful, resonant, and strong tenor voice and artistic rendition of classic songs, arias, and prayers continue to bring joy to others. I am thrilled to introduce to you tonight Dr. Azriel Gordon. Let's give it up for Dr. Gordon.
Thank you. This concert tonight is in honor of my late mother, Yahrzeit, 27th Yahrzeit, and I'd like to tell you a little bit about my mother. She was an incredible woman. Her parents, my grandparents, came from Poland around the turn of the 20th century, in the early 1900s. Yeah. My grandparents came from Poland at the turn of the century. Yiddish-speaking, Orthodox grandparents, but they came to America and settled on the Lower East Side of Manhattan and proceeded to raise 10 children, 2 of them died. My mother was the oldest of 8 children. They're all gone now, but of blessed memory. I have wonderful memories of my aunts and uncles and my mother. But let me tell you a little bit about my mother. She grew up without anything. She only spoke Yiddish at home for the first 5 years of her life and didn't learn English until she started going to school. But she became fluent in English and never even had a native Yiddish accent, but she continued to speak at home with my father and other relatives in Yiddish. The only Yiddish words I know are the curse words. She used to yell at me, but I won't repeat them here. She married my father in 1927. And they raised 6 children throughout the Depression and the early years of World War II. I'm the youngest of 6 children. I'm the baby of the family. My mother really fawned on me. She really doted on me. I was a baby, so I got a little spoiled. But she always stood behind me. Whatever I wanted to do, she was 100% behind me. When I left a very secure job working for the government after 17 years to learn how to become a chiropractor, she was one of the few people that stood behind me and even supported me financially while I went back to school after quitting my job. And unfortunately, she's not here today to receive the vitalistic chiropractic health tune-ups, but I started working on her back in 1988, 1989, just before she died. She was in her 80s, very decrepit, very poor condition. But also I want to tell you about my mother. My father never made much money. He was a laborer. He had very hard jobs. He ruined his health trying to put bread on the table. But my mother scrimped and saved from the little bit of money that my father earned. And in 1953, we bought a two-family house, living in a small apartment in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. We bought a very nice two-family house from the scrimping and saving my mother did for over 20 years. And that house was where I moved in when I was 9 years old. And after my mother passed away, the house was sold and provided an inheritance for 6 children. So it's in her memory that I dedicate this concert tonight.
What was her name?
Sarah. Sarah.
Sarah.
So your birthday coincides with her?
Same day. Same day. Now I sing a cappella, that's without musical accompaniment. I prefer it that way. I don't let the music distract me, I don't worry about when to come in, how long to hold the notes and all these kinds of things. Of things I should be thankful for, I've had a goodly share. And as I sit here in the comfort of my cozy chair, my fancy takes me to a humble east side tenement, 3 flights up to the rear, to where my childhood days were spent. It wasn't much like paradise, but amid the dirt and all, there sat the sweetest angel, one that I fondly call my Yiddish mama. I need her more than ever now. My Yiddish mama, I love to kiss that wrinkled brow. I long to hold her hands once more as the days gone by, and ask her to forgive me for things I did that made her cry. How few were her pleasures. She never cared for fashion styles. Her jewels and her treasures, she found them in her baby smiles. Oh, I know that I owe what I am today to that dear little lady so old and gray, to that wonderful Yiddish mama. Especially for Malcolm. Now I have something very special here for my Russian-speaking audience. It's a very famous aria from the opera Ugin Onegin by Tchaikovsky. The story is this. Lenski is a young man engaged to marry Olga. His best friend, Eugene Onegin, I call it by the English name, Eugene Onegin, comes to a party and starts making advances on Olga. Lenski gets very jealous and challenges his friend Eugene Onegin to a duel. Now Lenski knows he can't beat Eugene Onegin, but the thing they did in those days was challenging to a duel. So he knows he's going to die. So before he dies, he sings Kuda, Kuda, Kudabi Ulalilis. We're going to sing that for you tonight. Now forgive my Russian if it's not perfect. I'm doing it from transliteration. Kuda, Kuda, Kudabi Ulalilis, Besni moje zlatieni. This is a song that I learned from the very famous opera singer Enrico Caruso by listening to his records. My mother heard it and fell in love with it, so I included it in my repertoire. I asked Natalie to get me the words because I forgot some of the words over the many years and I lost my copy, and she very graciously downloaded from the computer the words to the song. But just so you know what it says, because it's in Italian, it says, very beautiful resemblance, that's the name of it, Vadissima Sembianza, very beautiful resemblance of my loved woman in the distant past, who then has portrayed you with such a likeness that I gaze and speak and believe to have you before me as in the beautiful days of love. The cherished memory which is in my heart has been so ardently awakened, has already revived my hope, so much that a kiss, a vow, a cry of love I no longer ask, except of her who is forever silent. I do not ask, except of her who is forever silent.
Adding to my opera story. I feel like I overlooked my own parents in the story, which, because my parents, who were from Poland, went through the Shoah, including my mother, who went to 6 camps and was liberated from Auschwitz. My parents were married in 42 in the Warsaw Ghetto by the Piasetzner Rebbe, and which I sort of wholeheartedly responsible for helping them make it through. And they too had a love of opera, but I just, as a kid, never paid any attention to it. And when my mother would say, you know, the Italians were very amazing because they spent the 2 years after the war before they came to America waiting for the, we're waiting for the passports because it wasn't so easy to get into America, especially when you were from Poland, where 90% of Jewry had been slaughtered. And they lived in southern Italy, in Napoli and then in Bari. And Napoli was the birthplace of Enrico Caruso, who wrote that song that you just sang, as well as many others that are sung today. And then my father used to go around singing, "O Sole Mio." That's one of the songs. And my mother, always, who loved opera, told me many things about the Italians. One was that you couldn't, the one she knew, you couldn't, in spite of Mussolini, that you couldn't make an anti-Semite out of them. And the second thing was that they were that opera was so inbred with them that, no pun intended, they would go without bread in order to, to keep the price, the few dollars or a few cents or whatever it costs for the cost of admission to go to an opera. It was more important to them than food. And And so that's an interesting thing. But the most interesting thing about that story, aside from the fact that between the 6 camps and the 6 million, I always think of my 6 children as one for each of those. That no matter what a person goes through, no matter what happens to them in their life, that the power of beauty, of art, of the neshama, of spiritual greatness, and that the neshama recognizes that, and you can't crush it out no matter what happens. And you know, her introduction to opera was right after those horrific experiences. How was she able to appreciate it? Well, she did. That's what.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
This piece, everybody should be familiar with. I'm not even going to tell you the title of it.
It's gonna warm up.
I sang that especially for Neely. She asked me for that song, and I said I would sing it tonight.
What is it?
Oh, Solo Mio.
From when?
It's a song.
Solo Mio?
Yes, it's in Italian. I don't know who wrote it.
Oh, Solo Mio, my son, the sun in the sky.
My parents used to sing it in the kitchen. There were opera singers before my mother converted, before my father became religious. They met because they were both performing in opera in England.
Really?
And then they used to sing, they were in love with opera. Okay, that's why we became familiar with it. And they used to sing that in the kitchen all the time. But I never knew what it was. I could sing it with you, but I don't know what it is.
My father used to sing it in the shower.
Well, I don't remember that part, but I don't know what else is.
Okay, so sometimes people ask me, you're an opera singer, you've been an opera singer for many years. Are there any Jewish operas? There is one. It's a French opera written by a French Jew named Jacques Halevi. Halevi. The Levi. It's called La Juive, the Jew, and it takes place in the 1400s. The typical thing about the church against the Jews and, you know, persecution and stuff.
When was it written?
Huh?
When was it written?
It was written in the 1830s. It was written in the 1830s. This man, Eliezer, raises a girl who is actually the daughter of a cardinal. He had an illicit relationship, had this kid. They didn't have abortions in those days, so he said to this Jewish guy, can you raise this girl for me? So she's really not a Jew, but he raised her as a Jew. Time comes, he falls in love with a Christian pretending to be a Jew. And it's a very complicated story, but in the end, they want her to make a formal conversion to Christianity, and she refuses. And her father doesn't know what to do, because in those days, if you didn't go to convert to Christianity, they threw you into a pot of boiling oil. Terrible thing, terrible things. So Eliezer, the father, sings this beautiful, beautiful aria, Rachel quand du Seigneur, when God gave you to me to raise you, I promised to protect you and love you and care for you, and now I'm handing you over to the execution. Caruso sang this. One of my favorite, a Jewish tenor named Joseph Schmidt sang it beautifully also. And I will do the best I can to render this beautiful aria to you tonight. It's from a Jewish opera, La Juive.
גם צרפתית.
I'm sure everyone here knows that although there may not be another opera about Jews, there are many Jewish opera writers, including Offenbach
Yeah.
and
Well, you know the difference between Jacques and Johann Sebastian. Johann Sebastian was always Bach, but Jacques was often Bach.
it's a pun. It's a
I don't
pun.
know.
But the one of his songs actually plays a role. Many of you have probably read The Zookeeper's Wife, which has recently been made into a movie. It was about righteous Christians in Warsaw who had a zoo, and who during the war, after the Nazis came and stole and ate and killed all the animals in the zoo, a vast zoo, they hid the Jews in the cages of the animals and in their own homes. And the way that, and she played the piano, they had very many artists whom they saved. It's a pity that many artists, including opera singers, you probably know, who were killed during the war too, of course. But whenever somebody came, it was an often she would go to the piano and play very loudly a very lively piece from a fun. You know about that, right? What's the opera? I can't remember the opera of Offenbach. Anyway, she sat down and she would play
The Tales of Hoffmann.
Tales of Hoffmann, right? And she would go and play this.
I was in that opera.
Really?
40 years ago.
So she would play "Go Go Go to My Sinai," which is hilarious in the opera, and it's "Go Go Go," and it meant "Go Go High." Here are the Nazis, but da 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 da, and she I saved hundreds of people just by playing that song of Offenbach.
And also animals.
Whatever
she could. Yeah.
Oh, and save the animals from the animals.
The ones.
No.
Also the real the nature animals that she found, and she saved.
Yeah.
That they were wounded from the Nazis.
I'm sorry, Dr. Gordon.
Okay, I would like to dedicate this next aria, the short aria. It's from the opera I Puritani. I know it's one of Natalie's favorite operas, especially this next aria, A Teocada. A Teocada. It means, to you, O dear one, love at times, lead me furtively and in tears. Now it guides me to your side in joy and exultation. At the radiance of such a beautiful hour, if I renew my torment, it redoubles my happiness. 'Tis more dear, the heart's beating. A Teocada. A Teocada. little change of pace now. I sang this at the break during the Shavuos, during the Shavuos learning. But it's such a beautiful song, an Israeli song, and I'd like to sing it for you, for all of us tonight, especially since we're in Israel. Yes.
Naomi Shema wrote it. She wrote it first with only the second and the third version. And then she sent it to her friends to listen to. And one of her friends was called Sarah. Said to her, Naomi, how is it that you wrote a song about Yerushalayim, but you didn't write anything about the fact that we don't have the Kotel, the fact that we don't have Iratika? My father goes and knocks through the peak hole that he can look and try and see as much as the Iratika as possible. And then she wrote the second version. And then, after the 6-day war, she added the fourth version. It was a three-stage song.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and the thing is that the first time that she sang the whole song, she sang it during the 6-day war. She went from army base to army base and army base, encouraging the soldiers and basically, making sure that it seemed they were okay and singing to them. And then after the 6-day war, when she wrote the fourth version, then there was a big concert with the soldiers. Many of them were on wheelchairs, amputated, with 4 operations, after wounded. And she sang them the whole song, and when they came to thank her afterwards, then she said, I gave you the song, but you gave us the city. אני נתתי לכם את השיר, ואתם נתתם לנו את העיר. Then it also won first place in the festival, which is a story of its own,
Yeah.
כן, זה סיפור שיר with the history,
Right. That gives me the chills.
כן.
Right. I gave you the song, but you gave me the city. That's something.
Yeah.
So you have an encore?
Let me see. Live and encore, okay.
Chazonos.
Yes, chazonos, yes, thank you very much. Chazonos. I will sing chazonos. This is from my choir boy day 60 years ago when I was an alto, like Natalie read. I was an alto in an Orthodox choir in New York. We went from borough to borough on Shabbat, on Chagim, to sing in synagogues. And some of these beautiful, beautiful prayers are still in my repertoire today. And one particularly beautiful song is from the Siddur on page 507.
Well, not to prayer.
It's called Bimale. Bimale. Another one of my favorite. It's a pleasure. I've been looking forward to this for a long
Maybe we
time.
should get the vodka in honor of the Russian opera.
Well, if we have vodka.
Would you like some water?
Yeah, if anybody would like, Ben, you want to bring it out in case if anybody would like to make a l'chaim in honor of the event? It's so wonderful after, after that, it hasn't been so long since Shavuot, and it's so, you just are starving for it to go there, for music, so this is really nice.
What's a little bit of your story? When did you start singing?
Well, 60 years ago.
You said when you in a children's choir?
Please have
In a professional choir, we have children and adults, only male, no females.
Horse.
And I was about 11 years old, and I was an alto at the time. And then my voice changed, and I couldn't sing anymore.
So you just left?
So then when I was 18, I discovered opera, and I trained my voice to become an opera singer.
You're a self-made man.
Well, with the help of Hashem.
Yes, okay.
You left the choir at 13 because of
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Please spread the word and get me booking everywhere. I want to sing, I want to make people happy. Share this love of music with people. Thank you very much.